And then it happened. The crowd began to move with it, and fists started flying in rhythm. Punches landed on the downbeat, chairs crashed on the offbeat. It wasn't just a brawl anymore. It was choreography, musically conducted violence, turning people into instruments. The DJ kicked the pace up, using the intro to James Brown's The Boss, yelling, "Get down," repeatedly, but in rhythm with the beats. He then beautifully switched the song over to the Charlie Daniels Band. The Devil Went Down to Georgia. When the fiddles screamed into the mix, they didn't sound like fiddles. They were war strings from hell, played like a fiddle by the devil himself. Bodies slammed into tables as the tempo shifted, slowed, then snapped back like a trap shutting. Even the chaos seemed to listen to the vinyl. Fists rose and fell in perfect sync. Boots stomped in unison. The fight itself chopped and screwed into a living remix. And through it all, the DJ added, faintly in the background, Michael Jackson's "Another Part of Me," fingers never missing a mix or scratch, as if he'd been waiting for this night, this violence, to cut his masterpiece into the air. As the two songs weaved together, another strange occurrence revealed itself. I could see the DJ splitting into two separate beings. Both DJs, both mixing and scratching, but taking turns controlling the tone. One traditional mixing, the other chopped and screwed style. They weren't competing. They were a tag team coming together from separate dimensions. They had a single goal: to collect souls for an unknown dark force. The place was alive with color and sound, under the club's fluorescent lights sprinkled with neon that turned every spilled drink into liquid graffiti across the floor. The DJ leaned heavily into the gimmick, dragging country ballads over hip-hop beats, scratching steel guitar and fiddle strings against bass drops until it sounded like a barn dance being invaded by a violent concrete hip-hop jungle. The regulars ate it up, stomping their boots in exaggerated rhythm, fake drawls cutting through the air, with laughter sharp enough to slice skin. A couple of guys at the bar were pretending to line dance, stumbling into each other and kicking chairs, while women in tight dresses twirled with invisible lassos above their heads. It wasn't comedy night, but it might as well have been. The whole room pulsed with cruel amusement, and through it all, the DJ continued to go off. He wasn't just spinning, he was possessed. Every scratch, every drop, every slide across vinyl landed with precision, like he'd been training his whole life for this moment. He cut the twang of a steel guitar into heavy bass, chopped fiddle strings into staccato rhythm, and made fiddles sound like war strings. It was mocking and mesmerizing all at once, a chaotic soundtrack to the violence exploding under the club lights. I ducked a wild punch and caught sight of Mason's men, moving like they'd rehearsed this. Tactical, coordinated, every step unhurried. Meanwhile, the crowd fought like choreographed brawlers, poetic but relentless, fueled by booze and bravado. The contrast was terrifying. The DJ leaned harder into the mix, sweat flying off his face as he transformed country twang into something brutal and unstoppable. He scratched so sharp it felt like sparks lit the air. And the crazier the fighting got, the sharper he became. His beats syncing perfectly with every punch landed. Everybody slammed to the floor and then rose in unison. It was pandemonium turned into rhythm, violence orchestrated like a track only the underworld could produce. And somehow I knew it wasn't going to end with music. The first tables went down fast, bottles and shot glasses scattering like shrapnel. Someone grabbed a chair and swung it wide, the crack of wood splitting almost in rhythm with the DJ's scratch. The crowd roared, fists flying, and the fiddles wailed like war strings, twisted and furious under neon lights. I tried to stay loose at first, sliding out of the way as two men grappled past me, smashing into the bar. Tequila spilled across the counter and onto my arm, sticky and stinging. Then it happened. One of Mason's boys targeted me through all the chaos, and before I could shift, he was barreling in with a wild haymaker. The music spiked as I ducked low. His fist slammed into the pillar behind me, splintering wood, and the DJ looped that crack into the beat like it was meant to happen. I came up hard with a shot to his ribs, felt bone give under my knuckles, and sent him reeling back into the crowd. The place had turned into an arena. Scrappers, boxers, and drunks alike were colliding in brutal rhythm, and above all, the DJ played conductor, mixing chaos into art. The guitars screeched, bass lines thumped like amplified heartbeats, and the scratches were sharper than razor blades. Every drop of the needle made the violence feel even more choreographed, like we were all part of a soundtrack nobody had agreed to, but couldn't escape.